There's a famous saying, give me a child till they're 7 and I'll show you the man. And I'm sure I do fit that idiom. I've always been an inquisitive and acquisitive child. So you go to the beach, you come back with rocks, pebbles, and then there's the benefit of you come back, you give them a polish, you give them a shape, you put them in some kind of artistic order, and there's something to learn from that. We had a big backyard, so I had plenty of places to put all the bits and pieces. Parents put up with it. They'd even take us on gemstone and fossil collecting holidays to bring more of these things back. With piano, I became quite proficient at playing piano, and I also became proficient at pulling bits of the piano off, and down below in the piano is all those strings that is really just a harp with hammers on it, and just dragging your fingers across those harp-like strings, you get the most amazing resonant sound, and I probably became hooked at that stage. Also, at that time was the late 60s. The sounds on the radio were all new. Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, they were quite what you'd call, I guess, mind-blowing sounds, revolutionary sounds. Hendrix as well, they were doing things with an instrument that had been developed to be able to do this kind of stuff over history, so I wanted to know more about what made them sound like this. I did begin collecting instruments fairly early on. Generally, collectors and museums will look for the best example, original example of that item from that era. So it's a bit like mint and used stamps. Somebody will collect one, somebody will collect the other. A couple of the antithesis of two items that I have is one's a 1952 Telecaster it's been played to the point that it's just turned to leather. It's just leather and bone. It appears and plays as though it's possessed by some kind of demon or a demigod. And I compare that to a Gibson 1935 Hawaiian guitar, a jumbo guitar, that had ended up in the cold north of Scotland. It must have been a dream that somebody had said, I want to play Hawaiian guitar in the freezing north. Now, I think the dream never happened because it was mint condition and there's not a pick mark on it. Interestingly, both do tell a story about the want to play Hawaiian music and feel that you're miles away from the cold of a northern winter. The other thing that comes with collecting is that musician's instrument is often modified. So that who, what, when, where and why that happened. And often that's where the guitar will evolve. A couple of instruments that I'm custodian of had been touched and built by the most famous builder of guitar, Antonio de Torres. And the first one is a Baroque guitar that was multi-stringed. The Baroque style of playing was going out of fashion. This instrument ended up turning up on Torres's wall as a wreck, I would imagine, with the face all broken, but the back and sides were all in gorgeous condition. And it must have begged to him, please come and fix me, maestro. And he did find time to bring it into what was the late 19th century from what was really the 17th century. So it put a new face on it, new tuners, new bracing, and gave it another 200 years worth of life. With this one, it's a bit like finding a Renaissance chariot that James Watt had put a steam engine in the 1700s. It's been hot rodded in a way, but it's the modification that's made it actually important. The second Torres touch guitar is one built by him at the end of his first epoch in the late 1860s. It's a smaller instrument, shorter scale. Now it came into the hands of another luthier in the 1970s, Marcelino Lopez from Madrid, who moved the bridge back and extended the fingerboard and changed the tuners as well. So it's another modification that's been done to this. Now, this modification If you extend the length of the vibrating string, you give it more volume. You give it a longer ringing sound, and it increases what's called that classic thing that all musical instruments are looking for, which is resonance. And with the guitar, it's probably the fourth word in every guitar magazine, almost. It's searched for by everybody concerned, so that the player, the audience, and the luthier as well, in trying to get the most out of the instrument for the player so that they can then satisfy the audience. And in that satisfying of the audience, it's been a lovely position to be able to offer a restored or repaired instrument so that the amazing lifelong link of the muse can be satisfied by bringing an audience and a player to a transcending part of their experiences.